Hey guys, look at this new valve cover that I got. It looks pretty awesome, and I really like that it has the 258 cubic inch design on it. But here are a couple things that I don't like about it, and I really don't like the way that this rubber cap is. It's just a preference, but I don't like it. Rubber seals, well, I guess a regular oil fill cap would also leak, but just not a big fan of that design, personally. Besides that, it looks relatively nice from a distance. But if you get up close, you notice a lot of defects in it. That's a little bit more annoying. We get in close here, and you're gonna see where the paint doesn't actually kind of go up here properly. You can see what they did was they painted the whole thing, and then they flipped this upside down and put this on a flat belt sander. And that is why you have a lot of paint chipping at the edges. Not a very nice design. And as we get closer to the corners here, again, they drilled all the holes and then they painted it. They didn't even do a great job at making, well, I guess I don't know a good way to say it, but like there's edges and flaps of metal that they drilled and they didn't even clean it up. Okay. That's one side. Turn this around and kind of flip this up a little bit here. Well, maybe not up all the way. And look at that. Casting marks. Okay, again, they didn't spend any time on it to clean it up. And we get in here, and I'm not a big fan of the way that they painted it. As you can see that they painted some of the inside of it. And then there are some marks in here like this. Feels like a little bit of cracking. It's not, it's a casting mark, but it feels like cracks and it looks like cracks. And then up on the paint here, they painted this whole ridge in here. So it's just the way they paint it, but that paint is probably gonna end up coming off in the oil. So I could take a piece of sandpaper and rough it up there, and I really don't care that much. The oil filter will trap it. But it's still kind of a nuisance to have them do this. As for that, you know, the seal side is all right. So, will this work for my application? Absolutely, as this truck is by far no show truck. But I kind of wished I got something a little bit more durable. And if I would have purchased it again, I wouldn't have purchased the $140 one. I would have purchased the cheapy $90 one. I think that would be closer to this. As for how well does it match the original color of the paint, as we go over here, we have a section of our inside door. Alright. And it's actually not too far off. It's pretty close, I would say. This is faded paint, and that's not. But it's actually relatively close, so I'm not upset at the color, and if this ever does one day become a show truck, it probably won't, but if it does, I can repaint the valve cover. That's just a cheap expense. But still, I probably would have gone with just the polished aluminum one if I knew that the paint was not that great. They did provide a cork gasket, and that is nice. Cork gaskets are pretty good. I really like them. And I think that'll seal very good on it. So that's a very good bonus that they did. And they also provided some really nice hex bolts and screws. So here we are. Dump these out real quick. Some nice hex bolts. I really like those. I like hex bolts. I think they do a good job. However, what they didn't do that was good was some of these holes go about there. And then it's not that great. So they ran these through with a tap, but some of them are off-centered. You can kind of just see in the bore, some of them are off-centered, and then there's still metal particles in there. So yes, they did a very nice job at producing the cover, or at least casting the aluminum, but then they failed at drilling and painting. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not really that great. As for an overall rating of this, Is it better than a plastic cover? Absolutely, any day. I would take this over the plastic cover. However, if I were to do it again, I would not buy this exact cover. I would buy something that's going to be either polished or maybe a blue or a different color, maybe a black. The red's close, but it's not perfect. And I don't think I'd buy it's Omix-Ada. That's the brand that makes this, or at least that's the brand that sells this, and it's actually a rugged ridge valve cover, so is what it is. Besides that, like the rubber grommets on that's fine. None of this is the problem. It's all everything else. So is what it is. That's what you get for when you buy stuff. America today just does not care about the quality. So, but we will install this, and there will be a video on how we installed this. I just wanted to share that I'm not very impressed with this cover. It'll do its job as long as it stops leaking. That's all I really care about. But I would definitely say there's some poor craftsmanship in this. So as far as it American made or made in China, I actually have no idea. But I will put it in an annotation of the video where it's made and a little bit more information about it. So if it's American made, I'm actually very sad about that. Not a very high quality paint and cover. Hopefully the casting doesn't crack or anything like that. I'll be pretty upset if this cracks, but I guess we'll find out how it goes, and I'll post updates on it. I don't like that. I don't like that oil filler port in it. I think that is so chintzy and just does not work. I mean, it'll seal, but when this rubber gets old and starts cracking, and how long will it seal then? It won't. I'll have to replace it. I mean, I guess seals go bad on regular oil filler caps, but I don't know. I don't know how long this will last. I guess we'll find out. Maybe it'll work fine for me. But also, if the oil filter cap starts leaking, I have to buy this from a specific vendor. I can't just go to an an auto parts store and buy another one. Anyway, it is what it is. So we will install this pretty soon, maybe tomorrow. We actually have to tap the head, and we will be doing that. I'm not scared about tapping anything. But we will get an update and an install on this. I want to make more videos on the YouTube channel. I'm really excited about doing that. And I guess you guys will be along for the ride.